Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Monster Hunter Wilds beta. And yes, with the open beta opening up, everyone is now jumping in. For myself though, I played it in an early session back at Gamescom, and of course I've also been playing non-stop through the PS5 Plus beta. And with that in mind, I wanted to highlight everything I'd suggest to someone playing for the first time, to basically get the most out of the beta while we only have these 3 days to play. So with that explained, let's just get right into it. Firstly, I'd actually recommend the first thing you do when you jump in is go to the settings menu. You'll find that there's actually multiple tabs on each of these, so there's a lot more than first might meet the eye. Some of the settings I would recommend to you guys though to change from their beginning options is immediately this. The Seikret Auto Explore. Basically, what can happen when your Seikret is just chilling out, like you're sat on it, you're not doing anything, you're looking at the map, it can go into something, as it calls it, auto explore mode when no waypoint's actually been set. So it'll just go to nearby stuff, and it's pretty invasive. I don't like it. When I tell my Seikret to stop moving, I want it to just chill out. And so by having this setting off, it stays still and doesn't go into an auto explore mode. Another one I'd strongly recommend for every game that exists ever is motion blur off. Maybe it's just me, but personally, I always find this just makes the games look worse. And so it's one of the first things I turn off in every game I ever play. Another thing to turn off if you yourself are playing on a PlayStation 5 still in the open beta, I'd recommend you turn off built-in controller speaker. It just plays different sounds from the controller's speaker, like when you're picking up items or otherwise, and I find it's just a bit invasive, so I'd recommend that as well. And then on the first page of controls, I would 100% disable auto sheath. Auto sheath is on by default in all of the Monster Hunter games recently, and it basically just means when you're not using your weapon for a few seconds or so, it puts the weapons away. This can be really annoying for a variety of reasons, especially when you're testing the weapons against nothing in the open, so I'd strongly recommend you turn this off. But those for me are the ones I always do. Now, as you go into this, you're going to find that there's going to be a character creator menu, a story mission, and then the actual beta itself, which is technically a quest to hunt down a alpha doshaguma, but after you defeat that, it's not like it ends. You're completely freeform at that point. So don't overly worry about killing that specific quest, finishing that mission. For the story mission though, it's actually quite useful. That's because at the first camp, when you sort of get going after the cinematic moments, there is a training barrel right there, which is great for messing around with a variety of weapons. Your handler will allow you to change to any of the 14 weapons right there, and so it's an immediate, still won't fight back dummy that we don't have access to otherwise, like the training room or whatever that's going to be in this game. It's not here in this beta. But if you're past that barrel point and you're in your free roam version of the map, then my recommended training barrel in this full beta is the chatacabra. He's ultimately a very low level monster even in the harder versions, and just a great forgiving target. It's going to be good for practicing, say, your new offset attacks with their weird timings, or generating wounds and learning to break those with your new focus mode attacks. His tongue is a good example as a weak point that's only exposed during specific times for practice during that kind of thing. So I just think he's a fantastic learn the game target, so I'd recommend that. But obviously for the beta, do hunt down all of the monsters as you're seeing me doing. We obviously have chatacabra, but then we have balahara as more difficult than that, then doshaguma as more difficult than that, and at the top of the pack, obviously the apex predator of this locale, it's railgun. But did you know there's different star levels to each monster, showing that some are harder than others? For example, we have a balahara at a strength level of 2 stars, and then we have a balahara pretty much adjacent to it, same thing, except it's 3 stars. That is its strength level, so ultimately how dangerous it is in terms of damage and how much health it's going to have. So you can have a 2-star doshaguma and a 3-star balahara. Obviously, the doshaguma is going to be generally considered a harder monster, but these star levels do scale the difficulty in relevant ways. So just be aware of that. But yeah, railgun, he's always 5 stars above the rest. Now, how do you actually find railgun and defeat him? Well, the idea is that you're going to have a railgun during your hunt with that doshaguma, or in general. He shows up during the time of inclemency in this region, which is called the sand tide. He will specifically show up near area 13 as the sand tide begins, but you might be, I don't know, stuck in the time of plenty, which means you gotta wait a while before he's gonna show up, and you want to hunt him now. There is indeed an optional quest for him that you can unlock. All you need to do is defeat one railgun. So join a lobby with all the other people and see what quests that they've listed. Very likely there'll be some railgun, and ideally you'll join one that's mid-hunt towards its end, that's got a full group already, so that you're able to have an easier time defeating railgun and joining late so it's done pretty quick too. By defeating railgun, you will get the optional quest for railgun, which means now you've got that unlocked, you can hunt raid out on your own or in a group if you want to, whenever you want, because you've unlocked the optional quest. As another thing then, I just want to tell you to try all the weapons you care for, or all of them. This is the perfect time to get adjusted and try the weapons. In the full game, you're going to be so busy progressing the story, gathering materials from, the world, as well as the monsters, to actually craft and upgrade your gear, which means you're not going to have free room to use every weapon and upgrade them. You're going to be midway through the game, you'll need a more upgraded weapon than the base one to be relevant against the monsters you're currently progressing, as an obvious example. Meanwhile, in this beta, it's perfect because we're all using the base hope weapons either way, so there's no big downside at all. So it's the perfect time to test them, and I strongly encourage you. If there isn't a guide out there, or you want to look into it yourself, I strongly recommend that you pull up the options menu and then go to the play guide, find yourself in weapon controls, and we've got specific information about every single weapon. Here you may learn new stuff, what's changed about your weapon in Wilds. Another thing that I've been mentioning is to make item sets, because you kind of start out with nothing, and by having an item set in your item pouch, you're going to be able to have whatever you want. So here we have my own loadout, and here I have everything that I could need. I've got all of my different kinds of pods. I have both trap types and some trap tools to craft more. We have some barrel bombs, some backup herbs and honey to craft more potions, my rations, and even energy drinks, nullberries, antidotes, and the maxed out potions. All of this is down here in your item box. Like, you start with over 1,000 nullberries, and then they don't actually give you any in your item pouch. So you might go out and gather them, that'd be a big mistake. So just make yourself a loadout and save it, and then you can swap to that loadout and restock whenever you go back to a tent. It's a really nice thing to have. The other thing I recommend is to take the time to make a couple equipment sets. For me, here in my daggers setup, I have the balahara helmet, chest, and legs, because there are group skills. The group skill in this case is Master Mounter, which makes it easier to mount monsters. And it goes from level 1 to 3, so I make sure to have 3 pieces of that. Second to that, I'm looking for the Stamina Surge skill, since that's going to speed up my stamina recovery, as you can see. As someone that's using lots of stamina, this is a great thing to have. But I do have a different set, and this one's the counter set. It is 4 pieces of doshaguma's set, because his set is Powerhouse, temporarily increasing your attack after a successful power clash or offset attack. So basically you get a perfect guard, trigger a clash, or you land an offset attack, of which there's a bunch of weapons that have that, and from that you're going to get a big damage increase. Then for the 5th slot, I just run the chatacabra greaves, because that's 1 level of recovery. And so basically I'm swapping between these 2 sets based on what equipment I'm using. Having this ready to go means I don't have to do this every single time if you want to min-max during this beta, and I kind of do. Next up, while you're in the beta, I recommend you just try the multiplayer to get a handle on it. Obviously, if you choose recommended lobby, you're going to go into a relatively full lobby, and that's going to be up to a potential of 100 players in one lobby, but only up to 16 are going to be shown to you in the base camp when you return. Problem with that is it's quite a lot of people. There isn't a lot of options right now to deal with people spamming messages, writing stuff, and worst of all, the sticker spam that people are doing. So we do hope they learn from this beta and allow us to minimize or completely stop those features when we're in these settings. But if you go to the 4th tab under communication and choose player list, you can find people here and then block them as at least something if someone's being particularly annoying. My advice, though, to avoid all of that as a neat trick is actually searching for specific lobbies back in the main menu. Search for specific lobbies and find one that has no people in it or very few, ultimately greatly reducing the chance that people are going to stick a spam or whatever messages. Next, I want to suggest you explore this map. We're not going to have long with it, so really get to grips with the map. There are some really cool hidden areas out there. For example, if you want to go over towards the Raid Down Nest, area 17, you're going to see this really vertical area. And as it turns out, this is a great mining spot. There's nullberries there, and it's going to be a great source for farming in terms of adamant seeds, which are going to temporarily raise your defense when you eat them, which could really help you during, say, a raid owl hunt for this beta. It's a cool area, but there's also some unique endemic life up there, it would seem. Another area that we had revealed to us from the Gamescom stuff was the underwater area, where yes, you can actually swim. This is just adjacent to area 14 and 15, and there's multiple ways to get down there, whether you're going through the cave by the oasis or through the tunnel here that leads down. But yeah, there's a lot of secret stuff there too, and this could be valuable materials, again at full release. What you'll find around the place are butterflies though. These are places you can put down portable camps. And having a look around and learning where's dangerous to put a camp since they can be destroyed is worth considering. For example, the camp you can put down obviously at the oasis is going to get destroyed a lot. because monsters just go there. But this one right next to it, just on the dunes, is a lot more hidden away and is likely to actually survive. They've placed these potential locations intentionally, so consider that. For example, in this secret area where the water is, there is another tent you can set up, and that can be useful for area 14 and 15. So explore. If you are interested in, say, endemic life, you can indeed use the capture net to capture some. We can learn about what rare or hard to find types of endemic life there are out here. Like I said, there's that one at the really vertical area next to Raydow's nest, but check out this one. This is a little sandstar endemic life, which is basically like a lightning blue mouse that's super quick, running around this area only at night. So there are absolutely unique rare endemic lives on this locale in this beta, and if you want to learn what they are, exploring now and finding them could be worth it. Next, a little PSA and warning. There are infinite change appearance options in this beta. So you can choose and create your character, and then back in the main menu, or if you go into the tent at the 5th tab, you're able to change your appearance again. This is completely unlimited. So you can totally change your appearance as much as you want. But don't get used to this. They've made it very clear this is limited for the beta, and in the full game it will be limited, and I expect we'll likely be using a familiar ticket system, the one we've seen before. Maybe you'll get one free ticket for a change, but after that you probably have to buy them. So customize your character like nuts in this beta while it's free, get something you're happy with, and then maybe you won't have to worry about that in the future. Another detail I'd like to make you aware of is the SOS flare system with the AI hunters. To get them to actually join, you need to go to Alma, your handler, or maybe set up a mission in the tent. And then as you're getting ready, choose the settings options. For SOS flares, you want to make it so it's only support hunters if you only want the AI help. And you can even make it automatically do this as you load in. But ultimately, you need to be on a set quest, not just like out in an expedition to pull in the SOS hunters, it would seem. In any case, this will allow the AI hunters to come when you use an SOS flare, and personally I think this works as a great way to take the heat off you in the hunt. It's like a version of an easier mode in my opinion, since the AI is surprisingly smart and it gives you plenty of room to heal or recover during those bad moments because they'll get them off you. Or you could consider this free DPS while the monster's focusing someone else. But overall, I think it makes harder moments easier, which might be something worth getting comfortable with for the full release. Next, just some quickfire stuff. You can place barrel bombs down and then pick them up if you place them in the wrong spot. Or you can pick them up, aim with focus mode and throw them, which works as a really easy way to explode the barrel that you placed by the sleeping monster. Also, this works with traps. If you place them, you can pick them up again. That's a really nice quality of life. Another quick tip for you is that when you get knocked down, it can be a bit annoying. If you're coming from Rise, you could be used to the wirefall system that would allow you to use a wire bug to instantly pull yourself back up for the ground. I'm very much used to that after playing a lot of Rise, and missing it feels bad. However, as it turns out, the seikret can come in clutch here. So if you get knocked down, you're laying there, you're feeling exposed, don't try to get up. Instead, press up on the D-pad and call the seikret. It'll come running over and pick you up off the ground at high speed. It gets you off the ground instantly, you're moving, so avoiding the attacks coming your way, and now you can easily heal while moving or sharpen or whatever it is you want to do. Also, remember that the Ghillie Mantle is an incredible tool for getting sneak attacks off, which is a new attack type in this game. All you need to do is not be in combat and go up to a monster while it doesn't see you quietly to do a sneak attack. You can do this without a Ghillie Mantle, but with one, it just means you're completely invisible while running full pelt at it. It just can't see or hear you. So it's easy sneak attacks to start every fight. Don't forget stuff like dung pods and lure pods to separate, say, alpha packs with doshaguma. Screamer pods are absolutely clutch for balahara. Every time it digs into the ground, it's just going to be an easy screamer pod, and then that's going to leave you with some free DPS time. Obviously, make sure you're stocked for nullberries for Raydow and balahara for the water and thunderblight. And I recommend flash pods as well for Ray specifically when he's flying. This can be a great way to knock him out of the air, just like any flying monster. Of course it works on him, and so it gives you free DPS time. So yeah, lots of different useful tools out there. But there you have it. That's just my quick rundown of some of the settings and features and suggestions that I'd highlight for those jumping into the beta for the first time with, well, a limited time. We're definitely going to have a long wait to February after this, but maybe we'll get a demo before launch still. If you guys have any extra tips though, or suggestions for people trying to make the most out of this limited time we have, let us know in the comments. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.